Okay, so with Hoshigaki, we start out with this acorn-shaped persimmon. It's called a hachia. Okay, my name is Chris, and I work here at Oto Orchard, and I kind of oversee what happens at the farm stand.
I'm retired, but my name is Tosh Kuratomi, Chris's husband. I love the tractor, and I guess PR, huh? Just greet people, and that seems to be my main contribution to the whole thing. I guess that's the introduction.
Over a slat, we hang them in pairs, and after about a week, it starts to get dry on the outside, so we're able to squeeze them or massage them, and then we let it hang there for another week, and then the next week we will do the same thing. My grandfather came from Japan in the late 1800s. So he came down here and he worked for a couple of families that are right in this area. After my parents got married, less than a year, then World War II started. Well, I should say Pearl Harbor was bombed. The Japanese were incarcerated and were not allowed to live on the West Coast. So my parents eventually ended up at Tule Lake for a little while. Until the war ended, they lived in Chicago.
Tomatoes are free?
It says tomato plants. Sorry. You want to continue the story?
I could. Where were we at? I was sleeping.
And for about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the weather, we will continue to massage it and keep the inside of the persimmon, I guess, very soft and succulent.
I like to find out where people were raised. Where did you grow up? And then link them with other people. So connecting people, I think networking, not for any real purpose other than just social. So that's what I think is my very biggest thrill, is just connecting this and that dot.
And then we will take it off of the rack, and we just kind of toss them every day. And by tossing them in the air, the sugars start to form on the outside.
It was more emotional losing her mother than whether her dad or my mom. But her mom kept the place going twice in her lifetime. Once when her dad died. For a couple of years she did it by herself with her mother. And then when her dad got Parkinson's and was unable to work, her mom kept the place going another 10 years after that before we showed up to take over. Well, especially at 106. I mean, Oto Orchard, she was Oto Orchard.
But traditionally, they have made Hoshigaki more dry. And I think that's because in the old days they did not have refrigeration, and this was actually a way of preserving persimmons. So they would make it dry, and it was a little bit challenging to eat, but at least it was, something sweet, and they can eat it all year long.
Even now, as we talk about retiring and doing something else, or letting the kids take over, or whatever, or shutting down, she'll say, but what about the customers? I guess that's one of the driving forces for you. Me, I'd be worried more about will the trees die. But we planted that one. But your grandpa planted that one, your dad planted that one.
I had never planned to come back to the farm, but I married a guy who likes that kind of style, likes to drive tractors, and likes to talk to people. So after he retired and started coming here just about every day and coming home with stories of how he met this person and that person, and I guess I then began to feel like I really wanted to come back and be part of the farm again.